What's up? On a hike here. Yes. I was discussing with a friend that I was a vegan, now ex-vegan, and it's like insane because if I'm talking about this and a person that is bought into this as the greatest thing ever invented walks by and hears me, like I'm literally in danger of being assaulted, at least verbally, which of course I can handle verbal assaults and physical assaults, but I'd rather not. I'm a peaceful kind of a gal, so I get nervous about talking about it when in a place where there's potential public appearance. So if you see me looking around, I'm just making sure that no one's around, because I'm not trying to instigate problems, force anything on anyone. That's better. My hair's wacky. It's really windy. But I have my experience and I get to tell my story. And my story is that I was told that this diet was like the end-all be-all of supreme and ultimate health. And that if I did this, that I would get the best health that's available to mankind. So, of course I did it, because, who doesn't want to be a badass? I guess there's people that don't, but I do, to this day. And, just trying to get off the beaten path a little bit. So, I was just talking to them, and apparently their child, and maybe potentially more than one of their children, has been convinced to do this horrifying death diet. Like, it literally is a kill yourself slowly and extremely painfully diet. There is absolutely no long-term health to be had by it. The short-term gains that you can get from it via the fact that you stop eating shit, and the cleansing effect, etc., that comes from it. It's very short-lived, with a lot of effort and suffering, when you can get the same effect just by other means that are way easier, way less painful, and far more effective, far more long-term sustainable. But that's not the point of my video. The point of what I wanted to mention is that these people whom are promoting this diet, I have to believe that on some level somebody knows it's a scam. But for those that don't realize it, they're telling people, and these people may or may not realize it, right? Who knows? Because when I was doing it, and I was not promoting it on YouTube or anything like that, luckily, but I would speak of it when given the opportunity in my, friends and family group, etc. So, they, and most likely I said this as well, to be honest, I don't remember if I said this specific thing, but they will tell you that the reason why you love meat and fat and butter, cream, those kind of things, is because you're addicted to animals, and that's not healthy or normal. So, like, when you're a heroin addict, you will crave another hit, apparently. I've never done heroin. I don't think I'd even like it, to be honest. But what I have noticed is that your body feels good and will crave when you're in a healthy state, or even when you're not. Of course, unhealthy people or people that are addicted to things will crave those things, but those people are also like super miserable, out of balance, like completely messed up. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like once you've acclimated yourself to healthy, and again, even when you're not acclimated to healthy, when you eat fatty animal fats, butter, cream, all these kind of things with the fat, then you're going to feel satiated, it's going to feel good, it's going to feel complete in a balanced way. And of course, your body has a memory and it remembers that complete satiation, and it's going to make you always feel satiated when you consume those things. And I can say that, yeah, there was a point where I was really heavily craving these things when I was a vegan, but I was denying my body what it was asking for, because my brain, the information I'd accumulated in my brain told me that that was wrong and that my body was broken, and that's why I was craving those things, when the fact of reality is I was finally craving those things after a long time of being vegan, maybe even a few years or whatever, because my body had used up all its reserves and was full, like seriously craving and needing the craving of what it was craving, which it was the animal fats and the real salts and various things that I was denying myself. And I kept ignoring it because the information accumulated in my brain, so my memorized crap, was trumping my gut, my intuition, my guidance, my body's desires of asking and wanting and needing what it was asking for. And how do we get so lost like that? It's because we're programmed and trained to ignore our needs our entire lives. Starting from childhood, when we're screaming and crying and we need something and our parents don't know what to give us or what it is, or they're tired or whatever the case may be, so they just put us in a crib to cry. Which I do that to my kids sometimes, right? Because if I'm tapped out and that's the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to do that versus freaking out at them or whatever. Because sometimes we just can't figure it out. But there are extremes of that, and I think many of us are put through an extreme of having our needs ignored since we're a baby, all the way into being an adult, because that's what's convenient for the other people around us. And so it's really not difficult for me to understand why me and many others get convinced to ignore our bodies' cravings and needs, and we get convinced that it's an addiction, that's an unhealthy thing, when in fact it is our body asking very clearly for what it needs, because it really does need it. So now I realize like how messed up that is and how super sad that is, that we're actually literally being convinced to ignore our supreme, perfect, exact guidance system, our creation-given guidance system to guide us to what is in our best interest for our physical bodies as well as for our life path. You know, we are taught when you're unhappy and in a situation that you're unhappy with, rather than being told to change, we're told you've got a chemical imbalance. Just ignore what you're experiencing and take a drug to balance that chemical again. So again, we're ignoring the cries for help and change that are coming through us and just masking it with a drug. When you are on a plant-only based diet, you are on a sugar-only diet, and it messes you up in cognitively, physically, emotionally, mentally, all the ways. Well, cognitively is mentally. And it's really hard to get yourself out of it when you are in so deep because it messes up your brain so badly. Sugar is literal poison, and having a diet that's based on only sugary carb things is deadly. It's harmful to your health. It is going to damage your teeth, your bone structure, your tissues, your function of your all your organs. And these plant oils are foreign to the body. We are not in any way, shape, or form acclimated to consuming these oils in that quantity. It is required to extract them, machines and chemicals. They would not be in our diet if we just existed naturally, period, end of story. When wild peoples did eat seeds, for example, which is where they get a lot of these oils, they would ferment them and have a very extensive process in making the seeds safe for consumption, because otherwise there's poisons in them that rob our bodies from its minerals. In addition to, tie my shoe. So when you're doing that fermentation process to eliminate these toxic substances, you're also changing the form of it. And it's, I don't know exactly what it does to the oils that are there, but it does things, right? It changes them. But you're also consuming enormous amounts less than you would when it's extracted via the machines and the chemicals into oil concentrate. So how much of the negative effect is coming from this concentration of oils that we're not really acclimated to consuming versus is it the chemicals involved in the extraction? I have no idea. But not good. If you need a machine or a chemical to extract it, you shouldn't be putting it into your body. Really good for machines, not for humans or any animal for that matter. So the guidance away from our, or the, what is it? Hello. How are you? What do we call it? The training away from our guidance system, the misinformation that takes us away from our inner guidance system is criminal. At least horrifying what they convince us to do to ourselves. And I can say I had an enormous amount of suffering and pain because I wasn't listening to my body. I was listening to the information I'd accumulated in my brain by people who are misinformed themselves, perhaps. I know that the person that I learned it from did not have malicious intent. He's an extremely kind and loving person. He did mean well, and he really truly believed that what he was teaching us to do was best. He was wrong. So I don't regret any of what I've ever been through because it's made me into the human being that I am today. And I'm very, very grateful that I wanted to live so much that I questioned everything. I did not necessarily question my diet, but I did say I'm willing to do and change anything, just as like an inner prayer inside myself. And then things came to me that were telling me to eat animal fats in particular, but also, of course, the meat and the organs and the bones, everything. And I did, and I felt instantly relieved. I did feel high, because when you abstain from these things so long and then you finally get it, your body gets kind of freaking excited that you finally gave it. And that, of course, has balanced out. I've been consuming those things for several years now, again. Now I just feel satiated and just normal energy. I don't feel like that buzz that I got that first time I ate butter. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. I'm kind of sad I don't. Maybe I should go vegan for a minute just so I can get that high again. So, if you want to do something like a plant-based diet for a little while, just for the cleansing effect, you should not be doing it for more than like a month or two. Your body will definitely tell you when you're done, because it's going to be exhausted. Basically, you're just going to be exhausted. You're going to feel kind of like empty all the time, like you're never satiated with what you're eating. And if you have a little bit extra fat on you, then it will eventually you'll get kicked into ketosis, which will make you feel good as well. But once you burn all the excess stored fuel and nutrients in your body, then that diminishes. And you go from, the ketosis high to totally drained and exhausted. That's when your body's telling you go eat some bacon, fatty bacon. Also, the anti-nutrients that are in the plants is a concern. So if I was going to do a plant-based thing again, I would prepare my plants correctly, which involves peeling, seeding, and fermenting. But I don't think I'd ever go plant-based, or not plant-based, but like vegan. I say vegan because plant-based, I don't know if that goes together. Because I just dry fast. It has a way quicker, more positive effect with way less suffering and pain and no danger of the toxins in those plants getting to you. Because even when you process the plants, there's still always some left in there, etc. So that's my go-to. I dry fast. Right now I've been dry fasting for almost 48 hours. I don't know when I ate dinner. It could have been like at 5 or something 2 days ago. And I do have a date, so I'm going to eat tonight, but I could go a lot longer than 2 days. I've done 5 is my max that I've done so far in the desert, and I could have definitely went 6, 7. I just ate just to do it. I didn't really care about, I didn't need it. Hello.
Hey.
So, yeah, most likely I would not do that. I would just dry fast. A lot more effective, way less painful, way less toxic. So, these people telling you that you're craving meat, fatty meat, because you're a heroin addict of meat are wrong. They're wrong. We are thrivers on animal meat and fat. So please, when you're doing the vegan diet or even vegetarian diet and you're not feeling well, contact me. I'll tell you exactly what to do. I will guide you. I'm not a jerk because I understand everything you've been told. I understand that you care about the animals and it sucks to look at their little eyes when they're getting killed and all this kind of stuff, but we are animals that need, not an addiction. We need the animal fats and protein. Animals are creation made to process plants into something that we can consume, and then we consume them and defecate, and then what we defecate then feeds the plants. It's a full circle, a perfectly designed one. Why are people trying to get us to stop consuming animals and only eat plants? They're just wrong. And or all the way to they're malicious. There's some people that think that there's the high ups, the elites, the whatever, are trying to eliminate a large number of the population. I don't know if I buy into that. I feel like if they wanted to do that, why didn't they just poison all of us quickly? Wouldn't it be easier than trying to get us to kill ourselves on crappy diets, etc.? But who knows? Maybe they get off on the game of watching people die slowly and painfully. It's possible. A lot of things to contemplate and consider. But what we do know, by many of us who've done it, is that it's shit and it's hurting, not helping. It's even harmful to Earth. The plants, the land has to be cleared to plant all the stuff, the water, the pesticides, herbicides, etc. The shipping. It's nonsense. If you really just put a little bit of effort into thinking about the logistics involved, that diet is not sustainable for Earth. And of course, factory farmed animals are garbage. It's sad. It is. They should not be consumed. I am not telling you that you should go eat factory farmed animals. You need to eat quality raised wild animals if possible. They wouldn't, of course, they are not being raised. They raise themselves if they're wild. But if you can't get wild, which I have extremely little bit of access to wild meat myself, but I get as high quality raised animals as I possibly can find, which happens to be, I go to a farm and a farm store to get it, and I see how these animals are being raised and treated as I'm walking into the store. And yeah, they have extremely happy lives, and then they are killed so that we can eat them. And I don't know what's true or not, but I have belief that the animals that are being consumed have offered themselves up for us to consume them, or they wouldn't even be in the vicinity of us being able to consume them. I've come up with those conclusions for various reasons. One is a study of wild peoples. They all consume some sort of animal protein, even down to bugs if that's all they have available, but they will always consume some sort of animal protein-based thing with fat. Fat's very worshipped by them, and they believe that they don't even have to really hunt when an animal. They believe that when it is time for them to need nourishment and fuel, the animal will present itself for them to kill, and the hunt will be fairly easy, if not just completely easy. And that, I think, is really beautiful, and I like that idea. I really do. There was one other thing I wanted to mention about that, but I can't remember what it was. So the animals are offering themselves for us, right? And they are an offering for something else. Like, the whole thing is designed perfectly and unfolds perfectly until we interfere with it. And the persons that we're hurting the most when we're following flawed humans' advice versus listening to our own guidance system is we are hurting primarily ourselves. We are hurting other humans that we convince to do these things, and we're also hurting the planet, which includes all the animals and everything that's here. It doesn't make any sense to be healthy for Earth or for us when we look at all the details involved. So the people that are telling you and convincing you are wrong. They're either liars or they're wrong. So please listen to your body. And when you feel tired, and ornery constantly, and you're starting to hate humans because they're over there pigging out on what you really want to be eating, but you refuse to give it to yourself because of some cult ideal religion thing, which is what veganism is. They have to convince you to believe in it so that then you just blindly do it, even though you feel like shit. And then if you veer off the course of starving yourself and poisoning yourself, then you get, death threats, literally. I mean, frickin' A. Like, if that's how psycho this diet's making you, then why the fuck would I want to do it? So I didn't get convinced by those type of people to do it. I got convinced by an herbal doctor who believed in a cult, the Mormon Church. He got his ideas from that book, and that should have been my first clue. He was so sweet, and he's supposedly curing all the stuff and whatever, and so I did it, and I did it 15 years, and suffered enormously and made really bad choices under cognitive impairment due to this diet, actually, which, I think I'm barely finally seeing the light of day. I don't know where this trail goes. Trail down here. I'm barely seeing the light of day when it comes to getting my life back on track, as I really originally intended it to be, but because I didn't feel well, I felt really not well. I stayed in a really bad situation for way too long and followed bad guidance that was coming through me to do things that are kind of freaking crazy. I don't know. I don't want to judge it as like wrong and crazy yet. Get back to me when I'm 80. But I had a lot of kids, and in our society, the way it's run right now, to have a lot of kids is not intelligent. because we don't have a village. Mamas are not supported like they should be. Like, mommy should not be going out working and having to take care of the kids and having to take care of the house and all this stuff. So, having a lot of kids in this day and age, especially in the situation that I was in, that I got myself in because my brain wasn't functioning properly because I was starving to death, was a very bad idea. I mean, I'm going from abuse to further abuse and just like complete torture. And the diet I was already on was already an abusive, it was a self-abuse. So I wish that I didn't have to suffer so much to learn what I learned, but I did, and it was really, really hard. And it's not necessary for yourself to do that. You know, unless you want to, obviously. But you don't have to blindly follow this freaking cult of starvation diet. You can follow the bliss of Wild Mother's wisdom, of following your guidance system, of learning how to follow it again, finding it again because we lost it, and striving through this beautiful life in a very reasonable way. We don't need to be, starving and hurting ourselves. So love yourself and eat some bacon. You're not hurting the animals or the planet, and you are not harming your health. Look at the majority of the population who are following the advice of these people. They are not well. Pay attention, okay? You will see what I see. You just pay attention. Okay, so I'm going to let you go. I hope I articulated my message well. And love you to bits and pieces. Peace out. Mwah.